Hello everyone, my name is Nadia and I'm going to present my book report. The title of the book that I've read is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, written by Rick Riordan. It has 377 pages, difficulty is 5, and this type of book is novel. The setting of this book is the story first takes place in a school field trip in New York, where Percy is at a museum with his class. During this trip, Percy is asked to decode Greek writing in a museum. The story continues when Percy is sent to Half-Blood Hill for training. He is then sent on a quest to find the lightning thief across the country. Why do I choose this book? Because I have already watched the movie. I really liked the movie version because it was so amazing. From that, I got to know that this movie has based on novel, so I wanted to read the novel of Percy Jackson. Besides that, this movie was really popular among the youngsters. This is where I get to know about the novels. One of my friends was really a big fan of Percy Jackson's stories, so she kind of affected me on this. And so I read the novel, The Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief to be specific. Books always amaze me, especially novels, because words that are written inside could be so imprinted in my head. Because I've already saw the movie, it is easier for me to read while imagining the world that Percy Jackson was in. I really love this kind of genre of book because I will not get bored easily and always want to know what will happen next. The story is amazing, just same as the movie, even better when it's already written in words, because I feel like I can dive deep in the story and also have some role in Percy's action. It is really interesting book to read. Characters. Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson is the main character of this book. He's a 12-year-old handsome boy with pretty blue eyes who found out he was a demigod and his father was the Poseidon. Second, we have Annabeth Case. Annabeth is Percy's friend and also a rival in a good way. She is very beautiful and smart, hence her mother is Athena. Athena and Poseidon do not get along very well. Then we have Grover Underwood. Grover is Percy's best friend. He's also a demigod. He's been sticking with Percy throughout 6th grade and he always watch over Percy. These two meets at Yancey Academy. Mr. Brunner or Chiron. Mr. Brunner is Percy's teacher at school. He used a motorized wheelchair to cover his real identity as Chiron. Chiron has the body of a horse and is very smart centaur who has trained many heroes before Percy's time, including Hercules. Then we got Sally Jackson. Sally is Percy's mother. She works at a candy shop in Manhattan and lives in an apartment in Queens, New York. Sally loves Percy more than anything in the world. Gabe Agliano. Gabe is Percy's stepfather. Just like his last name, indirectly said, he is ugly in body, mind, and soul. All he does is sit at home all day doing nothing, eating chips and plays poker with his friends. He takes money from Sally and Percy. Sally married him just because his smell is so strong to help to cover Percy's demigod smell from monsters. Luke is the best swordsman in this last 300 years. He helps Percy a lot when he first came to the Half-Blood camp. Hermes, his father. Luke was later on found out that he is the one who stole Zeus' lightning. Clarice. She is the bully at the camp Half-Blood. She tried to beat Percy on the capture the flag field, but Percy beat her on it. Then we got Talia. Talia is a demigoddess who died to protect Annabeth, Grover, and Luke from the Furies on Half-Blood Hill. Talia was the illegal daughter of Zeus, born after the Big Three had pledged not to have children with mortal women anymore. The plot. The Lightning Thief follows the story of young Percy Jackson, a troubled 12-year-old boy with secret unknown even to himself, diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD while being raised primarily by his mother. His life so far has not always been easy. Percy is always repeatedly kicked out of school due to unexplainable events that aren't really his fault. While on his sixth grade field trip to a museum, Percy faces his strangest event yet. Percy faces his strangest event yet. After an argument with a school bully, his math teacher, Mrs. Dodds, draws Percy aside to punish him. Mr. Dodds suddenly transforms into a monster and attacks him. His favorite teacher, Mr. Brunner, rescues Percy by throwing him a ballpoint that changed into a sword. At home, Percy escapes his dreadful stepfather, who he calls Smellygape, by joining his mother, Sally, on a trip to their favorite beach where she originally met his birth father. Forcefully wins an unexpected visit from Gruber led Percy to reveal to his mother that the incident that happened with Mrs. Dodds. After Percy finishes his story, Sally instructs Gruber and Percy to get into the car, where Percy notices Gruber has hooves for feet and learns his friend is a satyr. Sally insists that Percy must go to a special camp for his safety. A monster chases after their car as they head in that direction, attacking Percy's mother, which causes her to disappear into a golden light. Enraged, fearing his mother's death, Percy defeats the monster and obtains one of its horns as a souvenir. Point being is, the story is about a boy named Percy who found out that he is a demigod. A demigod is someone that has a parent who is a mortal human and a parent that is a god. He found a place where all half-bloods go to save from evil monsters. He meets Annabeth and Gruber that aids him on his quest. His quest is to find the Master Bolt, the god's used weapon, and to stop a war from happening. My general opinion, this book is one of the example of a great book. After I investigated enough, I have come to a conclusion that Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief book is about discovery and accept who he is as well as what he is capable of doing. I would say it gives people the message that believing in yourself, no matter who you are, is really important. Because after all, if you can't believe in yourself, then no one else can. Besides, that Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief story is a terrific tale of friendship and heroism. This book got humor, good bits of history, adventure, and action. Percy is on this quest in order to discover who he actually is and why is he a half-blood. The author of this book really wants the reader, especially young people, to discover who and what they can be or are. Percy discovered at the ending of the book that he is the son of Poseidon and that he is going to be a great warrior of the god of the sea. What I like about the book is that from the start to the end, the story never bored me once. When I first saw the movie, it was really took good interest in me. What's great about the way Rick Riordan has written the novel is that without realizing it, the audience are being educated in Greek mythology to an extent. If I think about it, I don't know about other people who may have had a chance to read it, but personally, beforehand, I never would have been able to name Greek gods before I know about Percy Jackson. However, some people might argue that we can't take it seriously because yes, they do seem to be living in the USA, but that is the fun of fiction. It is a playground for our imagination, a chance to get lost, forget the world around us, and open our minds to completely different realms and, like in this book, to see our world in a mystifyingly different light. This book for me is very awesome, packed nicely with history, some references to a lot of famous USA landmarks, and the light-hearted humor between Percy, Gruber, and Annabeth. From the book, we got some mythological creatures tossed in there, along with the food of the gods that I've heard of now and really want to try. Romance may also be on the plate between Annabeth and Percy, unless Riordan does a J.K. Rowling thing by making Annabeth go for Gruber instead. who knows where friendship may lead us. There is actually not much that I don't like from this book, but at some point the story seems repetitive and it kind of made me irritated a bit to read, because when I read the same thing over and over again makes me get bored easily. But thankfully this repetitive part is not that much, and the other good parts of the book covered it so well. I don't have anything else that I like the least from this book, because I really love the book and its story. My favorite quotation from this book are: "You shall go west and face the God who has turned. You shall find what was stolen and see it safely returned. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend, and you shall fail to save what matters most in the end." Second, a God is giving you an opportunity to prove yourself, Percy Jackson. Will you prove yourself a coward? If my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself. Go on with what your heart tells you, or you will lose it all. The real world is where the monsters are. And last, knowing too much of your future is never a good thing. I rate this book by 4 stars. It's a great book. And yes, I would definitely recommend this book to any of my friends who enjoys fantasy, adventure, and thriller genres. This book was written for teenagers, but it is not limited to teenagers. The whole storyline is very interesting, and I am sure will not make them get bored. People are usually love to learn or discover some extraordinary thing. So, with this book, they can learn or have a little knowledge about Greek gods and their history, which is a fun knowledge to just know a little. This book could also awaken the curiosity of someone, because from this book they could dig more about Greek ancient if they interested enough. This book runs so fun, and its amazing storyline will make them want to know more as to what is going to happen next. Also, they should not worry if the Percy Jackson story is going to end as soon as they finish this book, because there are also multiple series of this book with, of course, different and more interesting storylines. Thank you.